Welcome everyone to Team Quail's Beta 1 Dev Update. We've got plenty to show you. First things first, we have our finalized game name, Lost Circus. Just to refresh everyone with who's on the team, we have myself, Catherine, as the producer, Kevin as our lead systems designer and VFX artist, May as our UI and audio designer, Jack Plato as our level designer. Over in programming, we have Tristan as our lead AI programmer, Belle as our systems programmer, and over in art, we have Milo as our character artist and texturer, Lucas as our 3D environment artist focused on architecture, Russ as our main animator and modeler, Omar is our props artist, and JJ is our VFX artist. First major update to the build is our camera updates. Now players can rotate the camera a full 360 degrees, allowing them to have better angles of the game. We've also added in some very needed feedback, player feedback this sprint. One major piece of feedback is the toy inventory count. Now players will know exactly how many toys they can hold at once with the indication above the player inventory. Additionally, we now have a toy tooltip pop-up that explains what each toy does. Just hover over the toy's icon in the inventory, and you'll get a quick refresher on the toy's ability. We've also added an abandoned UI pop-up whenever a player is being chased by a monster. Our feedback so far has been that it can be pretty difficult remembering the keystroke for abandoning toys in the middle of the action, so hopefully this will help our players. The player health and stamina bars have also gone through some tweaking this sprint. They should better indicate exactly how much health and stamina the player has now. Here in the bumper car room, we now have bumper cars. These autonomous vehicles drive off on their own and can provide players with a little bit of cover in this monster-infested room. Our last major feature to the build is the updated monopede functionality. Now, when a player feeds the monopede the demanded number of toys, the monopede will traverse along the track. However, the monopede will then block off players from heading back in that direction without the appropriate sacrifice. And that's a wrap on the Lost Circus's main content updates. There are plenty of more additions to this build for you to discover, including, but not limited to, textures, animations, sound effects, music, and an updated tutorial. Up next is a quick demo of how our AI behavior tree system works.
Hi, my name is Tristan. I'm here to talk about the AI in our game. All of our AI is run by our behavior tree system you can see on the right. The yellow node at the bottom, walk route, is the current node. When the player enters the vision of the AI, you can see that it changes to the chase player state. If the player escapes the vision of the AI, then the AI will have to resort to its pursue hearing state. The AI will travel to any location where it last hears the player. In this case, the player is sneaking, so the AI cannot hear the player. After a while, it'll give up and go back to walking on its route. Now the AI prioritizes toys over the player, so when the player drops a toy, the AI goes up and attacks it until it's dead. Afterwards, the AI doesn't know where the player is, so it continues walking.